Hey guys, welcome back to our Cisco Defense Orchestrator series. Today, or in this video, we're going to talk about firepower or FTD policies. We're going to look at deploying our security intelligence policies, our intrusion policies, our access control policy, or malware policy, URL policy. We're going to kind of look at everything. What we can do with our firepower policies. So to access those policies, I could go here to policy and firepower or FTD policies, or I could go up to devices and just go select my device and go to policy here. So if I look here at this policy, we got 3 policies, access control policies right now in place. We've got our trusted policy for to allow OSPF, source of any source, any destination for OSPF, layer 7.0 there. And then we got our allow internet access, allowing our access to the internet for anything sourced from our HQ LAN. And then we've got our default block policy there. We've also got our intrusion policy set up here. We're allowing passing through anything from our branches, and we're dropping or blocking some of our basic threat feed categories from Talos there. So you can see, not really sure why we wouldn't just enable all these threat feeds right here, but for some reason, I've got these, just some of them checked, but probably best practice would be to go, enable all of them. For now, I'm just going to do that. And then we've also got URL feeds here. You'd probably also enable these. Go to your URL feeds. And again, Talos threat feeds that we get on known bad URLs in different categories here. You can see bots, CNC, crypto mining, so on and so forth. So probably go enable those also. I'm not going to do that right now. But before we go making any changes to that, let's go actually do some testing here. So I'm going to go over to a host I got on the network, and I'm going to hit this outside server. And before I do anything, I'm going to come over here back to CDO, and I'm going to go to monitoring. You remember we set up SAL in the past, so we should get some logging here within CDO. Go to live. I come over here to this host, and I refresh this. And let's go open this zombie PDF. You can see here the PDF opens. Come over here, open a ICAR file. You can see that opens. ICAR is just a test malware file. Should be blocked if we were looking at malware there. So you can see I can open both of those files. So let's close out of this. Let's minimize. You can see nothing showed up in our live logs, and that's because if we go back to our policy over here, we don't have logging enabled on any of those policies. So first of all, let's come back over here and let's go to that internet access policy here. And let's, actually I want to do this like this. Let's go over here and let's enable our intrusion policy, security over connectivity. Let's enable our file malware policy. Let's block all malware. And then we want to log this. So I'm going to come over here. We're going to select log at the end of the connection. And we're going to choose our SAL server that we set up, syslog server. So we'll select that, and we'll hit save. And there we go. And then now we need to deploy this. So I'm going to deploy this, and I'll pause the video while we deploy this config here. And we'll come back, select the, deploy this config, and we'll come back when it's done deploying. Okay, so we can see that our file now has deployed, or our policy is deployed, our device is in sync. So we can go back over here to our policies. Actually, we can just click here on the device. go to policy. And we can see that our policy is in place. We've got an intrusion policy, file malware policy, and our logging with these icons here. So we should be good to go. Come down here to monitoring. Go to our events, and we can see we've already got some events there. We can go to live, see if we can get some live logs. Go over here to our host. I've cleared the browser cache. Hit that server. And we go to the zombie PDF, and we can see right there, failed to load PDF document. Go back here, go to our iCar file, and you can see it's not loading. So timing out. We can let that continue to run, but we should be able to go back over here, and we should see intrusion right here, event. We select that so we can expand it. We can start looking at this event type of intrusion. We can see that it was blocked, inline result blocked, and start getting a bunch of live logs for that device and that activity. We can see this malware blocked event right here. Drop that down. Malware event, malware blocked, file direction, download. We can start getting a bunch of information about what's going on in that box. We can see the file name, the file hash, so on and so forth. So pretty cool information there. We go back over here to the box. We can see it's still trying to open that iCar file. It'll eventually time out. But if we look here, I've got the same server, and it's just HTTPS, right? So I select that HTTPS server. I go to zombie PDF, and guess what? It opens because we can't inspect it because it's encapsulated, right? And it's encrypted. So let's go over here. Let's go to more tools. Let's clear our browser cache before we leave. There we go. And then let's close all this out. And let's go look at a decrypt policy, so that we can inspect that traffic that we might want to inspect. And we will choose sensitive traffic that maybe we don't want to inspect. So we come over here, we go up to the SSL decryption policy, and we're going to do decrypt and resign. It gives you some information about that right there. We'll just say enable. And we are going to hit add. And let's see here. Let's start with let's do a sensitive policy first. And we will do create a role. We're going to go applications. Select the application. Application filter. And we're just going to go ahead and choose sensitive application right here. We'll choose that. Hit save. These are going to be, your banking, stuff like that. We'll name this we'll say no decrypt. Logging. We're going to log at the end of the connection. Choose our syslog server. Select. Save. Let that save, and then we'll create a default policy that we're going to use to decrypt. So we'll call this one TLS decrypt. We're going to decrypt and re-sign on that one. And we'll just leave that at any. Now we do want to log it. So let's come over here, log at the end of the connection. We'll choose that. Hit save. Let that save. There we go. And then the last thing we need to do is deploy this. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy this, and then I will pause the video and we will come back when it's done deploying. And then we'll go test. All right, so I'm back now. Our policy is still deploying, but while we're doing that, we're going to go and let's go out to the host, because we're going to go download. We don't have, we're just using the certificate from our FTD box. So let's go actually out to browse out to that FTD box and download that cert and load it into this box. So it'll be a trusted cert. Go ahead and advance, proceed. We'll log in. Let's go to our policy, our SSL policy, and then let's hit the gear icon here, and then we're going to download the cert. There we go. Let's choose keep. All right. Let's right click and install certificate. Open. Say local machine. Next. Click yes. Let's go with the trusted root certificate authorities. Click OK. And finish. Okay, so now we should have the cert installed. Let's go back and see how our policy is coming along. All right, we're synced. Well, are we? Yeah, no results, or nothing to sync. Let's go ahead and refresh that, make sure. All right, it says we're synced. So we should be able to come over here to monitor events. Go to live. Now we should be able to come back over to our host. And let's go to our TLS server and go to our zombie PDF. And blocked. So now we decrypted it, inspected it, determined with our intrusion policy that it was bad, and then we should be able to do the same thing with the RCAR file. There you go. It's just going to time out. So decrypted that packet and then inspected it as malware. So we should be able to come over here to our live event. Here we go. And we can see that we, again, malware connection, intrusion connection. So the SSL or TLS decrypt policy worked. So in this video, we looked at creating some basic policies for our FTD devices. We looked at our access control policies. We looked at our TLS SSL decrypt policies. We got our security intelligence policies like we talked about. We're passing through our branches here, but you've also got our Cisco Talos threat feeds here. Probably best case scenario would be honestly enabling all these, have all these threat feeds enabled. Right, high risk. These are all threat feeds that we receive from Talos, the largest threat researching team in the industry. So if they're saying these are bad sites, they're probably bad. So I would come here and I'd do the same with my URL feeds that I'm getting from Talos. I'd enable all these for my security intelligence. I think I missed one there. Yeah, we want to get crypto mining. So we would go ahead and enable all these and just use the power of Cisco to our advantage here. Cisco Talos, there we go, hit save. So now we would need to deploy that config again, but again, that's not that big of a deal. We'll deploy that, but like I said, in this scenario, in this video, we looked at all of our firepower feeds, our firepower policies, and did some testing. In the next video, we will look at we'll do some HA configuration. So we'll set up our firewall boxes, our FTD boxes in HA pair. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video. Thanks.